Good evening. Welcome to the Government News Brief for Monday, May 15, 2017. In the news this evening, the Ministry of Public Health is training patient care assistants at the Hugo Chavez and Palms homes. Child Care Protection Agency pilots community groups along Linden-Soosdijk Highway, and youths to benefit from an innovation fund. These and other stories when the news returns. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. The Hugo Chavez and Palms geriatric homes will receive a capacity boost as 51 persons are benefiting from patient care assistant training. Details from Gabriela Patram.
The 6-month course is in its 7th week. This is the 11th batch of persons that are being trained in this program. At the formal launch of the program, Chairperson of the Georgetown Public Hospital Cooperation Board, GPHC, Cassandra Alves, read Minister of Public Health Walter Lawrence's charge. She notes that as patient care assistants, they will provide direct and indirect care, which includes medical assessments, treatment, counseling, and psychological assistance.
As you are aware, there's a deficit in our human resources, which, as CEO mentioned, and in other countries also, with regard to the provision of essential patient care in facilities such as Hugo Chavez Center for Rehabilitation and Reintegration. The need for trained patient care assistants has therefore become imperative, and it is to this end that this training program has been implemented to fill the existing gaps as quickly as possible.
Alf notes that some patients may demand more care due to their health condition and urges that kindness always be extended.
First and foremost, you must recognize that the patient is the most important person for whom you will be responsible. As a patient care assistant, you will provide direct and indirect non-professional nursing care or outreach services in the Hugo Chavez Center for Rehabilitation and Reintegration and the Palms Geriatric Home, generally under the supervision of a registered nurse.
CEO of the GPHC, Alan Johnson, encourages the students to always excel in their training.
You need to write every single down that is said, everything down that is said to you. Might not make sense then, but when you go home in the evening and you're looking back, and that's the second thing. Read everything you've written during the day in the evening. If you wait 2 weeks after, you might not even remember what you wrote. Revise, 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 revise. Work hard. As you heard, not all of you will make it. But if all of you strive and to work hard and to discuss things together, when it's a little difficult, you discuss it with someone else who you believe understands it a little better. All of you will make it.
Coordinator of the Patient Care Assistant Program, Donette Mingo, says for nurses, there is a capacity that requires less training, hence this program. She notes that the program will not only enhance the health sector, but the individual's capacity as well. The Government Information Agency, GINA, took its camera to some of the students.
It's very lovely. It's very lovely. It's very educational, and most of all, it's motivational. It helps me to get an idea of what I want to become more in the future, and even allow me to be able to think and put a lot of what I've been learned into practice, not only for the patients and the residents, but for myself as well.
So far, so good. I'm very been thanks for having this opportunity, and I will grasp everything because we have, from this 7 weeks, I've learned a lot, checking vital signs and learning to be confidential, because that is the main part.
Well, I hope that this training will give us a better knowledge and way of attending to our residents more efficient and effectively.
It could give me more on how to deal with the patient, like mentally, because we have a lot of mentally challenged people in there. So, and it's something I love doing, so it will give me more insight on what we are missing out on.
There are 50 females in this 11th batch of the Patient Care Assistant Program. They were selected from regions 3, 4, and 5. For the Government News Brief, Gabriela Patram.
The Child Care and Protection Agency's Community Partnership Program is moving apace. 3 communities have already benefited. Here is more. The Child Care and Protection Agency has been working to establish partnerships at the grassroots level to prevent child abuse and promote child well-being. Director of the CPA Ann Green explains that partnerships have since been established in 3 communities along the Linden Highway.
We have established one in Timeri and 2 on the highway. Right, Yara Cabra area and Kuru. But we have to get the community to buy in. The ones in the outlying district, it's a little bit easier. They buy in the city. Well, persons are, this is the hustle and the bustle and so, but we're still working. They're still selling the idea.
The CPA director notes that all communities will eventually benefit from this program. She says it is necessary for CPA to work with community groups across Guyana to reduce the risk factors for abuse and to increase the protective factors. She explains what some risk factors are.
Risk factors are the things that will create vulnerability for children. It's a risk factor. A single parent home is a risk factor, because money and time is always in short supply in a single parent home. Because one parent got to go out working and come back and raise children. So a single parent home that's a risk factor.
Other risk factors include parents with mental health issues, substance abuse, poverty, early teenage parenthood, and domestic violence. Green says the protective factors will help to eradicate the risk factors.
We look at protective factors, support for extended families, support for the families, community support networks. So that's why we introduced the Community Watch Group, because that is our community support network.
The agency is also collaborating with the Ministry of Public Health and faith-based organizations to assist families, especially those with mental health issues. Renetta LaFleur for the Government News Brief. Young people across Guyana will soon benefit from the Youth Innovation Fund, which is set to be launched on May 22nd. Find out how from Neola Damon.
The Youth Innovation Fund, YIF, serves as a program that helps to harness the creative ideas of young people. Director of Youth, Melissa Carmichael, explains that the high unemployment rates among youths spurred the creation of the project. The exercise aims to push youths towards entrepreneurship.
Young people will put up their proposals in terms of what idea they may have that might be able to foster development in their community or school, or by extension Guyana. We're hoping that they put forward these proposals, and these proposals, of course, will be selected by a panel through the Ministry of Education, Department of Culture, Youth and Sport.
Carmichael says that the ministry's representatives will be stationed in each region to assist participants with their proposal. She notes that there are various submission timelines and selection of the proposals, as well as additional information. The youth director is optimistic that there will be a large number of applications from young people. Carmichael says that the ministry has not decided the number of persons that will be selected for the program. Minister within the Ministry of Education, Nicolette Henry, told the Government Information Agency, GINA, during a recent interview that in keeping with the government's green agenda, the program will focus on solutions for the reduction of fossil fuel usage and the Scientific, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics STEM program. Neola Damon for Government News Brief.
Rice farmers in Region 2 are seeking intervention to access their farmlands, which are affected by clogged drains and blocking the dams. More from Tiffany Rodius.
Rice farmers in Essequibo Region 2 raised concerns with the Minister of Natural Resources, Raphael Trotman, during an outreach last Friday. Regional Democratic Councillor Nath Ram explains that heavy rains are impacting rice farmers' access to lands.
I know our farmers are going through some very difficult time at this moment due to the rainy weather we've been having. Our dams are in a deplorable state, and because of this, this is causing a negative impact on the rice farmers.
These concerns were raised during a live calling program on RCA Channel 8, a local television station in Region 2. Minister Trotman says he will seek immediate intervention to bring some relief to affected farmers.
I will be speaking to both Ministers of Agriculture and Public Infrastructure to see if we can do something with the roads here as an emergency by within emergency works.
Regional Councillor Ram notes that the government has been placing emphasis in clearing a lot of the canals to improve conditions for farmers. The outreach is among several being conducted across Guyana to meet and interact directly with residents of communities. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rogers.
As Guyana joins the rest of the world to observe International Day of the Families, the Minister of Social Protection reaffirms government's commitment towards strengthening families. Details in this report. Speaking at the Ministry of Social Protection's International Day of the Families, Minister Amna Ali explains that the well-being of families is high on the agenda for development priorities. The minister says this is on the front line of the national efforts to realize the inclusive 2030 agenda for sustainable development.
We will continue to invest in programs and policies that will seek to empower families and create the conditions in which strong, cohesive families can flourish. Because strong families are building blocks of strong communities, and strong communities are the building blocks of a strong nation.
The minister adds her ministry will also continue to work with partners to identify policy-oriented goals and required resources to enhance family life development. She says special emphasis will be placed on children and young people.
As a country, we will continue to work to equip and prepare our young people for the future. We can't just have some young people successful. We have got to have every young person contributing. We can't succeed and develop as a nation without it.
The Social Protection Minister points out that ensuring the rights and well-being of children and their families is the key to Guyana's sustained development. Meanwhile, Chairperson for the National Commission for the Family, Sandra Hooper, says this country's development is highly dependent on the family.
The family is the pivotal institution around which society derives its strength. It provides for development, protection, and well-being of members of society who are protected by the laws of the country, including international conventions which Guyana has signed and ratified. The policies of the country regarding the family must therefore seek to promote an image of stable families which embrace human rights and avoid discrimination.
International Day of the Families was launched under the theme Families, Education, Well-Being. Renetta LaFleur for the Government News Brief. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Do join us tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Have a great evening.